Hello, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of VetsPlusSports.com. This is your host, Terrell Cool Beans Davis, along with my co host, Mr. James Miller.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing this Saturday night? It's good to be back on the air. We didn't have a audio during the week like we was planning on it, but we're back on the air tonight live. Before we get started into this episode, we'll let Cool Beans do the shout out to our listeners.
Yes, we like to thank our listeners that are all those folks that come out here for the lives. Thanks for coming to watch. And if you're watching the replay, thanks for coming to watch. We like to also thank those that are listening to the audio show, like cities like we got Los Angeles, California, San Jose, California, Boardman, Oregon, Ashburn, Virginia, Brussels, Belgium, and we also have Renzek, Germany. Thank y'all for listening.
Thank everyone for listening and tuning in. Um, we'll just go ahead and get this one out of the way real quick. With baseball, the World Series is over. The Dodgers took it in 5 games.
Yep.
I thought Dodgers would take it in game five or game six. So they took that. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to Freddie Freeman for the Dodgers winning World Series MVP. He was almost going to be first 4 games he had home runs in those games in the World Series, but you can call him Mr. October. Back in the 70s, but nah, he done real good. And I was just on here. I got it up right now. And Garrett Cole, one of the starter pitchers for the Yankees, opted out of his contract, so I guess he'll be a free agent.
Wow.
Yes, he'll be a free agent coming now. There's trades going on right now for baseball and everything else, but the baseball season has come to an end, and the Dodgers ends up winning it. And like always, Aaron Judd keeps getting slack and everything because he made an error in that game five that they went up in game five 5-0, and then the Dodgers put a 5-run inning together to tie it up, and I think it all started with that error with Aaron Judd. He missed the ball, but I mean, you always going to have those critics and everything. He's still a spectacular player and everything else. Um, on down the years, you're going to see that change. He's going to start doing good in the postseason and everything. So um, they're always going to have the critics. If it wasn't for him, the Yankees wouldn't be there. They wouldn't have been there this year anyway.
Right, yeah. Like when he was leading them ribbies and home runs, he
Home
was
runs.
pretty close to getting that triple crown. And
Yeah.
just like I think what he fell in like third position as far as
Yeah. The
batting
bat.
average.
Yeah. He fell third, but I mean, he was close. Um, but that man, that was just that was a good game, except for the couple of the first game they blew them out there in San Diego. I think it was, or second game, one of them, second game. The first game ended up being the overtime game.
Right, yeah, because
The
the
walk
first
off.
game I thought the Yankees was gonna take that.
I did too. It was 2-1. They ended up winning in overtime. I mean, overtime, extra innings in the 10th with the walk off Freddie Freeman grand slam. But I mean, all in all, it was still a good series. I mean, it was close. It just, I mean, Dodgers had the better lineup. I mean, and you got to think of this too. The Dodgers pitching staff was without two of their good pitchers, so they're going to be just as good next year unless the injury bug gets them. You're going to have Otani pitching again next year in that
Right.
rotation, so they're going to have two of their pitchers back. So they're going to be tough again next year. I'd say they'll be the favorites coming into the season next year to win it all again. If they keep all the pieces they got, which I say they will, Magic, he seems to be doing pretty good bringing pieces together.
Right.
So I'd say they'll be back again next year.
Magic Johnson's part of the Dodgers organization?
Yes, he is. He's part owner.
I did not know that.
Yes, he is. I think he's like 50% or something like that. So
Wow.
yeah, he's part owner of the Dodgers, and he's a good businessman. I mean, Magic Johnson, he knows how to do business, and I think he was a big part of getting Otani there in L.A. So we'll see. see what happens next year with baseball and that. And I'd say they'll be making a run for it for a repeat next year.
Oh yeah, I can see, especially if they can keep all their pieces and stay away from the injury bug.
Yeah, and the baseball is not quite as bad as the NFL right now. Um, NFL is, I mean, they just it's one after another. It seems like, and everything else. But they if they stay healthy, Dodgers stay healthy, they'll be right up there to the repeat.
That's good. That's cool beans. I mean, like
All right, you said you had some news from the women's NBA.
women's NBA. Yes, Stephanie White is now coach of the Indiana Fever. I mean, like last time we didn't do an audio show this week, so at the beginning of the week I would have said that Christy Sides was fired. And then tonight I would have been talking about some. Yeah, they hired Stephanie White. So yeah, Stephanie White. She was a player for the Indiana Fever. Won a championship as a player, and I think she won. She was the assistant coach when they won a championship. I don't think she was a head coach, but now she's back as the head coach.
Well, we'll see how that goes next year.
And if
Um,
they keep all their pieces, they got that expansion draft. So the expansion draft. Hopefully, they'll protect like Lexi Hall. They protect. They definitely should protect Caitlin Clark.
nah, they're
Uh,
gonna let her go.
I know Aaliyah Boston,
Yeah.
Kelsey Mitchell. Now, Kelsey Mitchell, unfortunately, it happens to be a free agent, so I don't know if you can protect her or not. But I would protect her. Keep her from the expansion draft. But the Valkyries will play next year. They have the Golden State Valkyries, which I don't understand why they didn't just bring them two at a time. And the year after that, I think it was Portland is supposed to have a team, but they got three teams coming in over the next 3 years,
All
which
right,
doesn't make sense.
so how many players they get to go? It has to leave each team. You said.
One. The Valkyries get to pick one from each team, so they'll be picking 12 players. Plus, they got the women's NBA draft when it comes.
Okay. So wow. So I wonder how. Well, that's something else there. So we'll see how that goes. Um, if the NFL done that, if say they added two more teams, which NFL's got all kinds of players that don't make the NFL.
Hmm.
So I mean, they could piece together a team. It'd probably be better than the Panthers, but they have more to choose from when it comes to that aspect than like the women's NBA. So that's going to be interesting to see as that goes through and everything else. And this coming next summer. So
Yep.
next summer you won't have all the chaos with the Olympics and everything. So they'll have their regular season. They won't have that month long break in
Mhm.
between like they did this summer. As far as we'll get on some NBA news right now. I'll go over some scores from last night, and we got some scores going on right now. Last night in the NBA, you had the Celtics beating the Hornets 124-109. The Celtics last night improved to 5-1. The Cavaliers beat the Magic 120-109 to prove 6-0 last night. Your Knicks beat the struggling Pistons 128-98. The Pistons are 1-5. Um, you got the Kings beating the Hawks last night 123-115. The Nets beating the Bulls 120-112. Both of those teams are 3-3 now. The Lakers beating the Raptors, who are struggling as well. The Raptors are 1-5, but the Lakers won 131-125. The Lakers are doing pretty good. They're 4-2 starting the season out.
That's good.
And then you've got the Pacers and the Pelicans. The Pelicans beat the Pacers 125-18. The Timberwolves over the Nuggets 119-116, and that's the talk of the NBA right now. Is the Nuggets? They're 2-3 on the season. They're how the news media goes. It's over, it's done, and everything else.
Right.
You're just 5 games into the season. 5 games into the season. They'll get it going. They'll get it together. They'll be in the playoffs unless injury bugs hits them.
Right.
And then the last game of last night was the Thunder beating the Trailblazers 137-114. The Thunder are 5-0.
Yeah, that Thunder looked good.
And then tonight, right now, going on, I'll go over the one. I think there's one final to go over right now. The Celtics over the Hornets 113-103. The Celtics are 6-1 now. The games that's going on right now, you've got in the third quarter the Grizzlies and the 76ers. The Grizzlies 67 to 58 over the 76ers. And they're
Yeah.
getting ready to start 1-4 on the season. Way to go, MB. You keep it up, man. Keep up the
I
good work.
know, that's what I said. You want to miss them games. Him and
Yeah, keep up the good work, young man. But hey, get this right now. The Kings and the Raptors are playing. The Raptors are up at halftime, 66-63. Like I said, the Raptors are struggling. They're 1-5. And here's that to me, I think is kind of a surprise. Right now, the Warriors are beating the Rockets 65-38. The Warriors are 4-1. And if I'm not mistaken, did Steph Curry, did he get hurt?
he's got a broken foot, so he'll be out for a while.
So I mean, so they're without him, but they're up right now in the Rockets 65-38 in the second. Cavaliers are on a hot streak. They're 6-0. They're beating the Bucks right now 60-55. And there's another team that's starting out 1-4, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You got the Greek Freak, and here they are. I mean, they're getting ready to be probably 1-5 if they don't watch out.
Yeah, but I actually expect that from them. You know why? First of all, my Milwaukee, they got Doc Rivers as a coach, and I like Doc Rivers, but ever since they put it out that he I don't know. This is something about they say he can't really coach, and I started watching. It's like he's been up. He was be up in series like 3-1, and then turn around and lose that playoff series. And he's done it multiple times. I was like, well, maybe Doc Rivers don't really know how to coach. And then I got to looking as part of his assistant coach, his assistant staff. Remember Darvin Ham?
Yeah.
Yep, he's on the coaching staff over there. So I was like, and Paul George, one of his reasons for leaving the Clippers. This was funny thing I wanted to put out. One of the things he was Leonard was always hurt and he never get to play with Leonard, so he left. So he go up there to Embiid, and now he ain't gonna never get to play with Embiid because he's always hurt. Well, now he's not hurt; he just don't want to play.
Yeah. All right, and then you got the other game right now. Well, I just don't know what happened there. It was the Timberwolves and the Spurs. They're at halftime, and this board just went zeros.
Oh dang!
I was getting ready to say the scores, and everything went zeros. I don't know what happened here. Maybe let's refresh it here and see what it does. All right, there it is. Went back to zeros. Well, anyway, they're at halftime in San Antonio, Timberwolves and the Spurs, and the score is the Spurs 62, the Timberwolves 57 right now. Then you got 3 games later on after getting ready to start here in 15 minutes. Is the Heat playing the Wizards at 10 o'clock? The Jazz is playing Denver Nuggets. I think the Jazz is 0-5. The Nuggets are 2-3. The Nuggets need a win. So,
Yeah,
and then you got the Suns and the Trailblazers playing at 10, and then the Thunder and the Clippers at 10:30. So that's your NBA rundown right now as far as the games. And well, I'll touch on some standings here, but I mean it's still early. But
yeah,
Cleveland is hold on, me back down here. Cleveland is leading the East. They're 6-0. Then you got Boston Celtics 6-1, which Cleveland may win tonight to go 7-0. And then from there on down, you got the Knicks are 3-2, Orlando Magic 3-3. And then Brooklyn Nets and Chicago Over in the West, you got Thunder 5-0, Suns and Warriors 4-1, and the Lakers are 4-2. So that's just a couple rundown of the standings. It's still early and everything else as far as
Yep.
that goes.
Yeah, it just straight out the gate, But however, straight out the gate, you don't want to drop those early games. I mean, like the early games usually are those easy ones that help you build up that lead.
It is. I mean, you should be winning those. I mean, the ones you should be winning. You don't want to get yourself in a big hole, um, because it'll be hard to get out of. And
Hmm.
I'm still just shocked with Embiid or whatever. What his philosophy is. I mean, here's my thing: if you go up big on a team, then come out. If you're beating a team pretty bad, come third quarter, don't play the fourth quarter.
Exactly.
But sitting out whole games, I mean, come on now. Um, and that just don't make no sense at all.
My thing is, if you can play, you should be in there. If you're not feeling good, if you feeling hurt, like maybe play just a little bit and say, look, put me in for about 20 minutes of the game today. I can't do more than 20 minutes, but be in the game.
I would cut in his pay. Okay, you're only playing half of the game, but you're only getting half of the pay.
Right.
We need to redo your contract because we're paying you to play 82 games.
Hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, there's no sense in that.
Yep. But my thing is, the coach has less power because I forgot what his first name was. It's something like Nick Nurse. The last name is Nurse, but he obviously has no power in that team because he's totally okay with that. Embiid sitting out those extra games.
Well, now the way it is now in the NBA, the way that they've made it that way, coaches have no power at all anyway. Your superstars, you got LeBron, he has all the control. You go to
Hmm.
these other teams, the superstars have control. They say what they want. If they don't want that coach, they fire them. So, I mean, you got a coach there, but really, in most part, there's no control.
Exactly. They're just the
So,
scapegoat.
yeah, they're just there. I mean, and everything else. Why even have a coach? You take your superstar on the team, let him just run the show.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what's happening right now. I mean, and that would save him money. He wouldn't have to pay for a coach. Just have some trainers there or whatever, and that's about it. I mean, but that's what it's turned into right now. And but I don't know. You got anything else on the NBA side of the news?
No,
Now, did you check on anything on the hockey?
I did not look up any hockey. What I was gonna do, I was gonna get with you. I was like, we're gonna get Corner Wanzel and get him on the show next week.
Yeah, we'll have to get him on there next week. And let's see. Let's see here. Let me just bring up some scores here. I'll click on it and bring up some scores there in hockey. Um, which Wanzel said he would come on. He's the hockey guy,
Yep.
but he did tell me, and I done forgot the guy's name, and I know his name. Crap, man, I can't forget his. I keep forgetting his name, and I know his name. He's a well known hockey player. He's so many goals away from beating Wayne Gretzky's all time goals record.
Wow.
And it's something like, I mean, it's something that nobody ever thought would be beat, but he's approaching it. I can't remember. We have to get Wanzel on here. It's like 30 or 60 goals from it, or maybe 30 goals from it, or something like that.
Hmm.
But right now, going on in the third period, you got the Kraken and the Senators. Senators are up on Kraken 2-0, and that name just kills me, the Kraken.
I know.
You got the Sabres and the Red Wings. The Red Wings are up on them 2-1 in the third. And then the third, there in Pittsburgh, you got the Penguins and the Canadians. Penguins are up 2-1. They're in the third in St. Louis. The Blues are up on the Maple Leafs 3-1. The Predators and the Avalanche is tied 1-1 in the second. Um, you got the Golden Knights and Utah will be I mean, well, I don't know if it's not teeing off, but be throwing down puck at 10 p.m. The Canucks and the Sharks are the same at 10 p.m. And here's some finals. You got the Panthers beating the Stars 4-2. You got the Flyers beating the Bruins. The Bruins beating the Flyers 3-0. The Blackhawks over the Kings 4-3. And the Capitals beating the Blue Jackets 7-2. They scored 5 goals in the first period. Capitals did.
Wow.
So that is your rundown right there for the scores for the day. With hockey. And like I said, we got a guy we work with. He's a big hockey fan. We maybe get him on here every so often to talk some hockey and get him on here. I think he'll enjoy it and he'll like it. You
Yep.
know, he's another veteran, so
Yep.
get him on here talking hockey because he's a big hockey fan.
You know, my team, I was going through this list of teams, the Canadians. I like that name, but my thing is, what if they decide to, because, they change stadiums all the time? What if they want to move to Detroit? They still going to be the Canadians? Or they going to change it to the Americans?
It'll be the Canadians. Detroit Canadians.
There you go.
But that's the rundown with hockey as of right now. We'll go ahead and because we're going to have to do some picks. And we're behind on some picks that I cannot find either when we get here with our college. We're going to start here with college right now, college football. We did some picks last Saturday. I got my pad here. I don't know where I wrote it down at, but maybe we can watch it and find out next episode. But I'll go over some scores right now. Ohio State beat Penn State 20-13 in Penn State. I watched the last part of that game. That was a good game. Then right now, and I do remember this. Me and you picked them, Texas A&M. We picked them. They're almost at halftime. They're barely beating South Carolina. It's 20-17.
Ooh, that's close.
South Carolina's got the ball, and they're at Texas A&M's 38. So they could possibly tie this up or go ahead right before halftime. It's in halftime in, listen to this. You ready for this? And I'm pretty sure me and you both picked Clemson on this. Clemson, they're in South Carolina. Clemson's getting beat by Louisville 17-7 at halftime.
Yeah.
And then you got right here. This computer's acting up on me. Kentucky and Tennessee. In Tennessee, got a good game going on. This is number 7 Tennessee. They are all tied up at 7 in the second quarter. Kentucky's got the ball right now. They are 3rd and 1 at the Tennessee 36. So let's see if Tennessee can hold on to that. They seem to somehow hold on. And
right.
here is, and I think I remember this pick right, if I'm not mistaken. You took SMU and I took Pittsburgh. SMU's up on Pittsburgh 21-3 right now.
Yeah, I did. I will go with my Texas team.
Yep. And then Oregon pounded Michigan 38-17. Get this. They come from the West Coast to the East Coast and pounded an East Coast team. 38-17.
Yeah, that's because Michigan, remember, I said they're actually in that rebuild year that nobody wanted to believe at the beginning of the season.
And then here's one for you, and I doubt at one time Georgia was struggling with Florida, but they end up beating Florida 34-20. Number 5, Miami all over Duke 53-31. Look at this. You ready? This is upset in the Big 12. Texas Tech beat Iowa State 23-22.
Wow.
So down goes Iowa State. But I'll check here in a minute. They should still be probably leading the Big 12.
Big 12, yeah.
Because they was the only undefeated team left. Then you got Indiana pounded Michigan State 47-10. Whoa! You ready for this? Upset alert.
Oh, what is this one?
K State got beat by Houston, 20
Oh no.
24-19. Now, um, the Utes fans found out real fast how well the Big 12 is not just a walkthrough. You know,
Right.
you got to bring. And one fan got that trash talk page on Facebook, and he apologized. He said we couldn't win in the WAC. He said, but and then another guy comes on that. He said that's all right. We're going to run the basketball season. Like, wait a minute. That's what Big 12 is. It's a basketball conference.
Uh-huh.
It's the best basketball conference. So you better be ready if you're gonna come to play basketball in the Big 12. You got to have your A game every game. And I don't think Utah's going to run the Big 12 in basketball either. They'll
Nope. I don't.
finish
I don't.
probably middle of the pack. Ole Miss is crushed Arkansas 63-31. And you ready for this one? Army beat Air Force 20-3.
Okay. Army's still ranked. Now I know Navy got put out wasn't it last week?
Yeah. You ready for this? Another upset? Minnesota beat 24 Illinois 25-17.
Mm.
And then Boise State Friday night all over San Diego State 56-24. And let me run down a couple of the Big 12 scores that are not ranked. West Virginia is on a bye week this week. They're back in action next weekend. Right now in the second quarter, you got TCU and Baylor. Baylor's up on TCU 13-10 right now. Arizona State floored Oklahoma State 42-21. Texas, well, I just already mentioned that because Texas Tech upset them. And oh, excuse me. UCF pounded Arizona 56-12.
Whew.
And now, while we're on this right here with the Big 12, you know, there's all kinds of chaos going on in Morgantown to fire Neil Brown. Well,
Right.
they fired their defensive coordinator
Uh-huh.
the other day. They fired him, which that's my thing. They fired a defensive coordinator, which, yeah, the defense was struggling in the secondary, but he's not the problem.
Yeah, he's just a scapegoat. It's just like, well, my man Dable. That's how he do it. First year there, oh, we did bad. Fire Jason Garrett. It was the offensive coordinator. Next year, oh, it wasn't me. Fire defensive coordinator. All right,
See, and the
this year three.
problem is Neil Brown. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they got billboards up. People paid money for billboards, several there in Morgantown, saying fire Neil Brown. And then on the other flip side, there are people getting billboards to keep Neil Brown. Let me tell you this for you
They
fans,
wasted money.
your fans, listen to this. I'm going to tell you this. You're hearing it on our podcast right now. You West Virginia fans that think keeping Neil Brown is the solution, y'all don't know football. I'm going to say that. Y'all don't know football. Just for like last weekend. Last weekend, I think we mentioned it on the podcast. 3rd and 16. They throw a screen to the flat. 3rd and 16. 3rd and 14. They run the ball up the middle. He's not trying to get a first down on 3rd and long.
Nope.
His play selection sucks. He can't coach his talent. And so there's all kinds. There's a guy there. I don't even know who he is. Ken Kendrick. I don't know if I showed it to you yesterday or not. He said
No.
he is willing to pay for Neil Brown's buyout to bring back Rich Rodriguez.
Wow. Okay.
So this dude, whoever his dude is, has some money. He said, I'll buy his buyout to fire him.
Yeah, because that's what it's going to boil down to. All those people that I'm gonna go ahead and go on a limb and say this. All those people that's paying for billboards to keep Neil Brown. Can you name one thing Neil Brown has done for them to be kept there? 6 years. The day we was there, the game we seen, that was the homecoming. 6 years. They lost 6 straight homecomings. They haven't won a homecoming.
What
They
happened
haven't
at
been.
halftime? What happened at halftime to the stadium? It emptied out, didn't it?
Yep, it sure did.
All right, I'm gonna tell you what's going to happen. If they keep Neil Brown, that program will lose all kinds of money because they won't have nobody in the stands next year. It don't matter even for the Pitt game, which they won't be. Yeah, the Pitt game will be back in Morgantown next year. Okay, even though that's a rival,
Hmm.
it won't be a sellout if Neil Brown's still there. Okay, so you're going to lose money. Warren Baker put a thing out on press conference, and I think it's to smooth things over because Nick Saban was up there almost 2 weeks ago. Okay. You had Nick
Right.
Saban up there with the Senator Joe Manchin. He brought them up there. Senator Joe Manchin knew it was time to do something. He called up Nick Saban to come up there. Okay. So the thing is, you keep him up there, you're going to lose money. That program's going to struggle. But he put a report out that reason he said he couldn't fire Neil Brown because of money. They're at the
Hmm.
bottom of the barrel. But like I told you, I said that don't make no sense. You can go to a smaller school like a Marshall or somewhere else that has a good coach. You don't have to pay him all that big money, and you could bring him up there that will change a program who can coach talent
Yeah, that's true.
because he can't coach to his talent at all. Period. I mean, if you sit there and watch it, that's like Nico. Nico's a pocket passer. He's not a running quarterback. What he do? That's the game we was at. You seen it? He tried to run him
Hmm.
Like Garrett Green. The next game, Garrett Green didn't play because of injury. He was still trying to run Nico as like Garrett Green. He don't
Right.
have the
Exactly.
speed. He don't have that speed. He's a pocket passer. Neil Brown cannot coach to his talent at all.
And he
So
probably also got Nico shooting them little slants and everything. When Garrett Green's problem is he can't see over the line, so he does those slants. He does those
that's why
screens.
he that I think that's why he moves Garrett Green out of the pocket
Yeah.
because he cannot see over the line. So, um, but yeah, something's got to give. They got if they keep Neil Brown, that you talking about, there won't be no fans in the stadium next year, none. I mean, because even the two I've done went to 3 games this year, and all 3 games, all the fans that were there beside me, like even when we sat, they were fed up with it. They're fed up with uh with everything. He made a comment that the fans a few weeks ago just need to worry about tailgating and having fun.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I remember that.
The head coach said that. Neil Brown said that. What fun is it in losing?
Exactly. And
I
it's
mean,
just like you say, like I said, it was my first game, first time being in that atmosphere, and like the whole time I was there, all these people just talking about firing us there. All they want to do is fire.
fired. He needs fired. I mean, but we'll see what happens after the off season. I think Warren Baker put that out to try to smooth everything over because Nick
Mhm.
Saban was up there. Rumor has it, other reports after he come up, it's a rumor that he is supposed to come to Morgantown. Nick Saban is,
Right.
and he is bringing. You ready for this? Supposedly, he's trying to bring one of his assistants that used to help him. He's a
Hmm.
head coach now. You ready? Kirby Smart.
Ah.
So that's just a rumor, but we'll see what happens. I still don't expect Nick Saban to come up there. I would love for him to. He's a West Virginia boy. How to go out with your careers to come back to your home state, bring back a title to that state.
Right.
But
Or he may not even come back to coach. He might come back as more like not it's not an administrator. What is the position I'm talking? Uh, an advisor. He might.
I figure he's probably gonna get one of his assistants to come up.
Right.
They brought
One of
him
his
up there, yeah.
assistants.
Get one of his
Yep.
assistants that used to help him throughout the years to come up and take over. But we'll see what happens. We got a few more weeks. But surely they can't keep Neil Brown. They keep Neil Brown, and then if they don't, once the season's over, if they don't fire him within the first couple of weeks, then they're going to keep him.
Oh, you
And
don't think they'll drag it out to next year?
you got to look at recruiting and everything. So, as a recruiting standpoint, you got to fire him early
That's
so you
true.
can bring in recruits for the coach or whatever. Um, so if they don't fire him, if in the first couple weeks after the season's over, then they're going to keep him, and then they're going to finish next to last next year. So
Right. So we already figured West Virginia's not getting a bowl game. So
well,
about mid
need
December, he should
they
be
need
fired.
they're 4-4, so they got to win two more games.
Hmm.
They've got 4 games left. So they got to win 2 out of those 4 games to be bowl eligible. Um, so we'll see what happens. They still got to play Cincinnati. They got to play Baylor. They got to play Texas Tech, who just beat Iowa State. So and then UCF. That's the 4 teams they got left.
Right. So
So
it's possible they can end up being 6-6 and still be bowl eligible.
yeah, they just got to win 6 games and be bowl eligible. So we'll see what happens. How's that unfold? And I'll mention this score here because they're close to us. It's Virginia Tech. They got beat by Syracuse, um, 38-31, and those Syracuse are
I
six.
actually remember that because I remember going with Syracuse on that.
They are 6-2. Syracuse is on the season. And let's go to check the Sun Belt. I think it is, and check on Marshall. Um, I don't think they had a bye this week. No, they didn't. And Marshall won today, 28-23 over UL Monroe. So Marshall was 5-3 on the year, 3-1 in the Sun Belt.
Okay.
So let's go to the standings right now, and we'll run down. I'll run down those at there, and then we'll go ahead and do our picks for next week. So in case something happens during the week and we forget about it, if we can't do a show or something. Um,
Okay.
let's see here. All right, in the American Athletic Conference, you got listen to this. Army is leading the way at 6-0. You got Tulane Green Wave at 5-0. And you got Navy Midship, they're third at 4-0 in that division.
Hmm.
So right there, you got 2 militaries that's leading in that division at the top. And you got the teams as of like Memphis Tigers. Memphis used to be good. They're 3-2. You've got East Carolina. They used to be a good team. They're 2-2. South Florida Bulls in the Big East, they were real good. They was ranked at times. And you got UAB Blazers. That's the teams that's in that conference. And then coming down to the ACC, you've got Miami leading that division. They're tied. Well, Miami's at top. They're 5-0. Clemson's 5-0, and you got SMU. Your Mustangs are 4-0. Pittsburgh's 3-0. So that's the undefeated teams in that division. And I told you wrong. Big 12, BYU still undefeated. They're 5-0 in the Big
Oh,
12.
I forgot about Brigham Young.
And then Iowa State, Colorado, Buffalo, Deion Sanders is tied for second and 4-1 with the Iowa State Cyclones. And then Kansas lost today. They're 4-2. And West Virginia is way down there in the middle of the pack. So,
Yeah, but I didn't hear you say anything about my undisputed Utes.
you ready for this? Oh, yes, the Utes. They're down at the bottom of the pack. They are 1-4 in the Big 12.
Wow. Oh,
And man, they was going to
all
walk
that from talking about winning the title 1-4.
1-4 in the Big 12. They was going to walk through the Big 12, just like they're going to in basketball. And I've never seen anything like it. Going to the Big 10, you've got Indiana Hoosiers and Oregon are both 6-0 in that division. You've got the Buckeyes and Penn State are both 4-1. And then Minnesota's at 4-2. You go to Conference USA, you've got Western Kentucky and Jacksonville both 4-0. Moving on down to the Independent League, Notre Dame they're 7-1. You got Yukon Huskies 6-3. Mid Atlantic, Western Michigan is 4-0, leading that division. The Mountain West Conference, you got Boise State at 4-0 and Colorado State Rams at 3-0. The Pac Conference, who only has 2 teams in it, the Pac-12. That's the Pac-2.
uh
Uh, and it's Washington State's leading that 7-1, and Oregon's 4-4. And here it is, the SEC. Uh, it's the conference. It's supposedly the football conference. But you ready for this?
huh.
Guess who's leading the SEC right now?
Oh,
It's one of your Texas teams.
it no,
Yeah, come on.
because University of Texas, but they lost though.
Texas A&M is 5-0 in the SEC.
Oh, A&M.
Yep. And then you got the Bulldogs, the Longhorns, and the Volunteers, and LSU are 3-1. And down there near the middle of the pack is the Alabama Crimson Tide at 3-2 with the Rebels and the Vanderbilt. So that conference is pretty deep. The Sun Belt, you got Georgia Southern in the East, 3-1, along with Marshall. Marshall's 3-1 with them. In the west part of that, you got Louisiana Cajuns, 4-0. Arkansas State's 3-1 behind that. But that's the rundown of the standings. And right now, let's just go ahead, like I said, get this out of the way. We'll hurry up and get these picks here um, for next week, week 11. All right, here we go. Let's run down through this real fast. You got Purdue and Ohio State. I'm gonna go Ohio State.
Yep, I'm with you on that one.
You got Ohio State on that. Then you got Penn State and Washington. I'm gonna go Penn State.
I'm gonna go Washington. Even, even though I don't think Penn State will lose two in a row, I just think that they're overrated.
Um, and in that game, I don't know. I'm not for sure. I was going to say I don't think the offense scored a touchdown in that game. They didn't. They had a something else. The offense didn't score in that game. Penn State didn't. Had 2 field goals from the offense, and then I think it was a pick six or I don't know something. There was
Punt
something else.
return or something
Punt
like that.
return, yeah. Miami, number 5, Miami and Georgia Tech. I'm going Miami. Miami looked good, man.
Yeah, I'm going Tech.
You're going Georgia Tech.
Yep,
All right.
Tech with the knockoff.
Mississippi State is playing in Tennessee. I'm gonna go Tennessee on that.
Tennessee. Yep.
Go Vols. And then you got Clemson in Virginia Tech.
That's a tough one. I'm
Well,
going Clemson.
you going Clemson?
Uh huh.
I'm gonna go Tech with the upset.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Tech with the upset. Um, Iowa State playing in Kansas. I don't think Iowa State will lose 2. I'm going Iowa.
I'm going with you on that one too.
I think they'll rebound back. If not, then they're going to be hurting. You got Michigan and Indiana. Indiana's going to win that.
Yeah.
Then Nevada and Boise State. I say Boise State will win that.
Boise State. Yeah.
You've got Virginia and Pittsburgh. I'm going Pittsburgh on that.
Virginia and Pittsburgh. Virginia.
You've got Utah State and Washington State. I'm going to go Washington on this.
Yeah, Washington.
Then you got Colorado and Texas Tech. This is going to be a good game. Texas Tech should be ranked where they beat Iowa State coming into this.
Hmm.
Colorado should move up. Man, it's going to be a tough one. I'm going Texas Tech.
I know. I want to go with my. I'm going with Texas Tech.
Man, it's watch Dion. He's going to pull it off. You got Oklahoma and Missouri. I'm going to say Mizzou will win that.
Oklahoma, Missouri. Yeah, Missouri's gonna win that one.
Oklahoma is not playing good this year. They're 5-4.
Nope. They show not.
You got Florida and Texas. Texas is going to win that.
Texas, yep.
Um, then you got Georgia and Ole Miss. I'm gonna go with Ole Miss with the upset.
Really, I'm going Georgia on that one.
Army and North Texas. I'm going Army.
I love to go with the Texas teams, but I cannot deny the Army.
Maryland and Oregon. I'm
Maryland, Oregon.
They're playing in Eugene, so
Yeah, Oregon.
Oregon's looking good.
Oh yeah, they are.
Alabama and LSU. I'm going LSU on this.
Yeah, Alabama is not the Alabama we used to know. It's going LSU.
And here's the game that the Utes have been waiting for: BYU and Utah, and y'all gonna get beat by
Brigham Young.
BYU. All right, let me jump here real fast to the Big 12. Get them other picks. The teams that ain't ranked. Like we got West Virginia's playing in Cincinnati. Ah, I'm going with WVU, but
I like Cincinnati.
I didn't think WVU would beat Arizona, but they did. But I don't see West Virginia. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's see here. UCF and Arizona State. I'm going Arizona State. They're 6-2. UCF's 4-5.
UCF, Arizona State, Arizona State.
Then you got Oklahoma State, TCU. I'm going TCU.
TCU and who?
Oklahoma State.
Oh yeah, TCU.
Oklahoma State's getting pounded. And then we'll pick one more here, which I think we already. Yeah, no, that's it. That's it as far as that goes. We got to get Marshall.
Yeah, we gotta do Marshall and
We've already done the other two teams in the ACC, Pitt and Virginia Tech.
hmm
So Marshall's playing Southern Miss. I'm going with Marshall.
Marshall and Southern Miss.
Southern Miss is 1-7.
Oh yeah, Marshall.
All right, that's it as far as college. Let's flip on over here. We're getting close to time, but we'll move right along into the NFL. Okay, the season this week's already started, and you and I already talked. You had the Texans and the Jets.
Which I'm glad we missed because I would have picked
Well,
Texans.
we both would have picked Texans, so I wrote us down with Texans, so we got an X.
You're still
We're
good.
going to be true. We're going to be true to ourselves. That's who we would have picked. So we
Okay.
lost. We lost. The Jets won 21-13. I think the Texans are in trouble. That's just my opinion. But they've got you got Diggs out, you got Nico out, so
Mhm.
two of the receivers are out.
Nico's
So
supposed to be back next week, though.
I mean, Diggs, you mean?
No, Diggs is gone for the year, but Nico is supposed to be
Oh,
Nico
is he?
Collins. Yeah, they said he's supposed to be back not next week because next week is their bye. He's supposed to
He's
come
still
after the bye.
all right. He's still on the IR, which we know that IR don't mean nothing because we seen what happened last week with the Rams. An
Right,
hour before, Nuka was on the IR an hour before, and then they pulled him off and put him in the roster. So,
right.
all right, we got the Chargers and the Browns. I went with the Browns,
Oh, I'm going Chargers. I know Jameis Winston's in there now and everything, but I still
but they're
think
playing in Cleveland. So,
I'm still going Chargers.
all right, you got the Patriots and the Titans. I went with the Pats on this one.
I definitely. Oh, I hate going for the Patriots, but I am going to go for them on this because you can't count on the Titans to do anything.
All right, here you go. Here's a game: Broncos and the Ravens in Baltimore. I went with Ravens.
Yeah, I'm going Ravens.
Um, all right. Cowboys and the Falcons. I went with the
Cowboys.
Falcons. I went with
I
the
knew
Falcons.
it. I knew it.
You got the Bills and the Dolphins. I went with the Bills.
Bills.
You got the Bengals and the Raiders. I went the Bengals.
Bengals. Yep.
You got the Commanders and the G-Man. I went with the Commanders.
Commanders.
What you don't have faith in those G-Men?
No. Not
It's
with old Dable there.
the Saints and the Panthers. I went with the Saints.
Saints. My goodness, if the Panthers pull that out, ooh, Saints is done.
All right, I can't wait to hear you say this. All right, it's the Eagles and the Jaguars. Go ahead and say
I gotta go for Eagles. I gotta go for Eagles.
it. All right, the Bears and the Cardinals. I went with the Bears.
Bears, yeah.
Let's see if Caleb Williams can bounce back. Lions and the Packers. I went with the Lions.
Lions.
Did Love come back after that injury?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
I think he's still gonna be out.
Okay. The Rams and the Seahawks. I went with the Rams.
I'm going Seahawks.
Reason I went with the Rams because they got their number 1 and number 2 receivers back now.
This is
So,
true, but that division is so horrible. They are so horrible right now.
and the
that-
Rams are still in it.
Exactly.
That's a bad thing. All right, you got the Colts and the Vikings. I went with the Vikings on that.
Oh, I'm going Vikes.
And then Monday night, the Buccaneers and the Chiefs. I went with the Chiefs.
Chiefs, yeah.
And last week in our picks, I got you by 1 game. You went 10-5, and I let's see. Hold on. What was it? I got you by 1. I went you got me by no. You went 10-6. I went 11-5. I got you by 1
Yep.
last week. So that's what we got right there as far as our picks. We got a few minutes left. There's all kinds of stuff going on. There's been the Chiefs are trying to get Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints.
And you know who else is trying to get him?
Who's
The
that?
Commanders.
The Commanders.
I see that earlier today. They're also trying to get in on that.
Because you got the deadlines the 5th of November. So they're trying to make another move. I did not know that the Chiefs made a move also on the front defensive line and
They
got
did? I
another.
missed this
Yes. I don't know who it is. Jones, I think it is from maybe the Patriots or somewhere. Defensive front. See, because they lost their defensive front guy, so they went and got another one. So they picked up that, and they were supposed to go pick up another offensive player, and I would be assuming that would be a offensive lineman if they went that route.
Right.
But we'll see what happens there because the trade deadline's coming, and everybody's trying to get their trade in before there.
Everybody but Dallas. Dallas ain't making no moves.
They're happy where they're at. They're going to finish last in the conference. And Jerry Jones is happy. No off-season moves, no in-season moves, no moves at all. And well, they did make one move. They brought Elliott back.
Exactly. Yeah.
How's that working out for him?
And they got Dalvin Cook off the. Oh my God! I don't even know if he's playing next week. Did you see? They put it out on I think it was Facebook. That okay, last week they activated him for the first time.
Yeah,
That's off the practice squad, and he had a little shot of vodka on the sideline drinking before the game.
Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, and with a little shot of vodka before the game. I'm like, I'm like, dude, you just got activated and you're already screwing up.
Well, he's like, I messed up coming here. Is what he's saying. I can't with this man. This is a mess here. Oh my goodness! But yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep.
And we'll see.
And just to be on the record for the show, our director, my wife, says she's going for the Packers this weekend.
She's picking the Packers, the big line. And hey, the way this season's going, it can happen.
It can.
It can happen. I mean, it's wide open right now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with these games. It's fun watching them. It's fun picking. But I see here too for the Pats, you got May. He clears the protocol. So he's going to start against the Titans for the Patriots. So he'll be in the lineup. Um,
Yeah.
okay, and then you ready for this for your Cowboys? Elliott is out for disciplinary reasons. So
Oh
Elliott,
my God.
so no
Disciplinary.
Dalvin Cook because Dalvin's drinking on the sidelines. No Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, and then I seen that who was it? Somebody was seeking Dallas for a quarterback, which I figure would be Trey Lance. They was looking
Should be
for
Miami. They was
Miami.
trying.
I think it was it Miami. I think I seen, but the only thing I could figure would be Trey Lance, and I mean they
Mhm.
um so and then
Which I would make that trade to free up some cap room because there's no reason why you because they're not going to have him next year. They're not going to pay him that money next year because next year will be the last year of his rookie contract, and he's going to want some money, want to go somewhere. They know they're not going to pay him.
they said they got right now. Love is questionable for the game against the Lions, which his was a groin injury. Um,
Right.
and the thing is, a groin injury is about like a aggravated hamstring. Those two injuries was probably the one of the worst that lingers, along with the calf
Hmm.
muscle. Those linger, so we'll see what happens there. I wouldn't risk playing him. I mean, they're still in the hunt for the playoffs. I'd sit him this week, put their backup. They won 2 games with their backup.
Exactly.
So I would set him, if I was the Packers, I would set him to let that groin rest for the following week. And even if they lose this game, so be it. I mean, you're still fine, but they're going to probably play him because that's a divisional game,
Hmm.
and they're wanting to beat the Lions.
They are.
And they're playing in, I think they're playing in Green Bay, if I was not mistaken. Um, let's see, let me get this brought back up real fast. I think they're in Green Bay, if I remember right. Yeah, they're in Green Bay. So, and the thing is, you got the Lions in the division. I mean, Lions. Well, that's a waste for the Lions. Are leading that division, and we're about getting close on time. Let me get this real fast, and then we got to go. Um, the Lions are leading that division by 1 game over the Packers. So if the Packers
Hmm.
beat them, then they're going to be the actually the Green Bay would be ahead of the Detroit 7-2, and Detroit would be 6-2. But that's all we're out of time. So like we always do at the end of each episode, if you're thinking about harming or hurting yourself, there's always that quick number you can call 988. It's the suicide crisis, veterans crisis hotline. Excuse me, which is 1-800-273-8255. You can always give that a call or go to your local VA medical center for the veterans that's out here listening. Um, keeping I just go to the ER, ask for help. They'll get you the resource you need. There's people on staff 24/7 to help you out.
Yep.
Always keeping contact with your buddies. If you notice anything that's unusual, talk to them, get them the help they need. That's all I've got. You got anything else, Beans?
I got nothing else. I think we touched on everything. I think we did pretty good this week. Maybe next week we get our hockey. I want to hopefully confirm next week we can have Mark Wanzel for help us with hockey.
Yeah,
But
get him on there, and hopefully this week, if we don't run into no technical difficulties, we will have our midweek audio like we always do.
yes, we will.
Be either between Tuesday to Thursday. That's 3 days in the middle of the week.
Yep,
But we'll probably shoot, I guess, for Wednesday morning right now. If that's all right with you, we'll shoot for Wednesday at
that'll
11.
work.
All right. Well, y'all have a good night and a good weekend, and stay safe.
All righty.